Okay, this is an update on Pelosi and the wall. Okay, and several other topics. Okay, last time I did a report. I said that my number, I thought it was being censored because my numbers were all frozen. Well, it turns out it was just some kind of a technical glitch of some kind. My numbers were all frozen. I don't know. I kind of suspected they were, but I don't know whether, service provider, don't know. But anyway, Google's been very helpful to me. I've had all good luck with them, really. I mean, I wish my ratings were higher. Like I say, I argued the other time. I said, well, I'm smarter than Tucker Carlson. Well, really, I wasn't trying to brag. I just wanted to give myself credibility, because if people had watched Tucker Carlson and noticed he's picking up on some of the things I'm saying, but he's leaving things out, then maybe I'd have credibility. And like I say, well, the guy they knocked off, Alex Jones, he had real big ratings. I don't know. He blows me to clear that well, and a lot of other people too. But he's more full of crap, obviously. So what is it? The more full of crap you are, the more ratings you get. I guess I need to be more full of crap. But I don't want to do what Alex Jones did. He makes up crap about pizza places and whatever else he did. Anyway, that's not going to work. Okay, well, anyway, but Google's been very helpful to me. And YouTube. Alright, now the Steve Hilton problem. Tonight, they're talking about the Nancy Pelosi, and the wall problem. She's in bed, well, I would say she's in bed with the campaign money. They keep arguing on Fox News it's just a political thing. And I'm trying to counter that argument. And like I say, I watch a whole bunch of people on Fox News, and 7 or 8 of them, and they all argue that way, and here I'm contradicted, and I'm thinking, it's a phenomenon like everyone's out of step except my son phenomenon. Probably, if they're all arguing that way, I'm probably just wrong. What I'm trying to do here is prove I'm right and they're wrong. They argue it's just political. It's just she's trying to get her base, and then she's trying to get the hard left base. And she can't keep that speakership without that base. And when I'm coming back and arguing it's campaign money, it's like every time we've had Congress seize up, it's always been campaign money before that did it. Like I say, it's a big sucking sound towards the periphery. That's my case. Yet, like I say, you have the trial lawyers on one side, like I said 100 times, the trial lawyers on one side, and the corporate America on the other, and the environmentalists and all that. And it sucks everything. It's like a piece of meat. 2 pigs fighting over a piece of meat. They call them pigs, private interest groups. They're fighting over a piece of meat, and so it seizes up Congress, and that's why Congress, the system's broken. There's bad people in the system, but the system's broken. If the system worked right, the bad people in the system wouldn't affect the system. It'd still work. But that's what's wrong, and it's all just since the campaign finance thing has gotten out of hand that we've had this frozen up Congress. Well, anyway, they argue that's their base. Well, I just heard a report on Steve Hilton that they said that the new Democrats that come in won't go against Pelosi because they're afraid they can't raise money. So they go along with her. Well, she helps them raise money. Well, she's got all that money from those campaign. The corporates that want cheap labor, that want the border open so they can hire cheap labor, that drives wages down. That means the working class doesn't make a living. That means the Mexicans that are here legally can't make a living. That means the black races here legally can't make a living. And me and a lot of other people, last but not least, and my own worries. But anyway, that's what keeps these corporates are paying, giving her campaign money. Well, they won't go against her, and because of fundraising, and that's what they said. Well, that's what I mean. It's the campaign money is why none of them goes against her. That's why everyone in the Democrat Party is on her side. No one's going against her, and that's why they won't budge on the wall. Like I say, if they had to get just the voters' attention, get reelected, didn't have the campaign finance corruption, and couldn't depend on campaign money, they'd have to move to the middle because the voters in the middle. They said 97% want border security. They said that 45% want the wall and 55% don't want it. But 76% and 97%, two different polls, say they want border security. Well, you can't have border security without the wall. But they should, but one way or the other, they should reach a compromise, at least half of a wall, but and the reason they don't is the campaign finance. Well, you notice one of the Republicans said he listened to Pelosi, and someone got in there and talked about the wall. I don't know if I care about the wall that much one way or the other. The majority doesn't support it. But I do care the fact that she won't even listen. She tried to shut him up. So she knew the wall worked, and when she said it didn't work, she lied. She knew she lied. She willfully lied. They also said that when she's down there in Hawaii, and when this senator that's in there, congressman, Democrat, Spanish guy, was down in the Caribbean, that they were down there with the lobbyists. The lobbyists are the people who are giving her campaign money. They're the ones that are causing the trouble in Congress, that season it up. They're the ones that want Trump impeached. They're the ones that are telling all the Democrats to impeach Trump. The Democrats are just puppets of these people that want him impeached. Of these lobbyists, the campaign finance corruption. Every Democrat, they want him impeached. They don't want him to get a win because they can't impeach him. They can't get the Republicans to move over to them, and they go over on the Republican side and lobby them with the campaign money. And everyone's got to have campaign money to get reelected. So what happens? Trump gets impeached. What happens? We don't get the wall. Okay, look, who's all the losers there? We've got the people that want the DACA bill. They're a loser. We've got the people that want, which is a majority. We want the people to stop chain migration stop. Slight majority wants chain migration stop. Slight majority wants reduced immigration. Slight majority wants to stop the lottery system. They're a loser. The people want the DACA bill. The people want higher wages, the wages to go up, and that's everybody in the working class. That includes me and the United States Mexicans working here. They're all losers working here legally. Who are the big winners? The corporates, the people with campaign money, the people she's down there partying with, down there in Hawaii. There was, I guess she's back. But and that Spanish guy that's down there, and they probably paid their way down. I don't know that for sure, but one thing's for sure, if I find out that it was the lobbyists that paid their way down there, it sure wouldn't surprise me. Okay, so if you want Trump impeached, support the corruption. And if you don't want lower wages, support the corruption. Okay, now the other problem. The next problem I want to talk about, I heard a report on CNN, and they said that in the CNN, they want the DNC, they say, they don't want Biden, and they don't want Sanders. They want someone that's the LGBT community, a minority, a Muslim, a Mexican, or someone like that, black, for the next president. Okay, and they say, and also they want young blood. They want someone in that the young will vote for, like Beto O'Rourke. Okay, now don't vote for Beto O'Rourke. Here's my reason. Here, one thing they're forgetting, why did they bring out Sanders, the minority's Jewish? We've never had a Jewish president that I know of. And I think, why haven't we had a Jewish president? They're smarter than everybody. We've had the dumbest president ever, the damnable W. He was in there a while back. Now, why can't we have the smartest president ever with Sanders? If we're going to have the dumbest one, why isn't it time now for the smartest one? That's a rather rarity, and for presidents, someone that's real smart. Okay, they won't bring that out, that he's a minority. And the reason, because the Time Warner Corporation that owns CNN wants cheap labor, they want the borders open, and they don't want campaign finance reform, that Sanders supports. Now, how many times has Time Warner told you that Disney profits from cheap labor and profits from open borders? How many times has Beto O'Rourke told you that same thing? Never. How many times has Sanders? Sanders has brought it out several times in his campaign that they don't want him in, and that ABC doesn't want him in. They lie about him. Okay, well, when they say that they want Beto, if they endorse someone in Time Warner and see through CNN, they're probably the wrong one. All right. Anyway, he reeks of the swamp to high heaven, in my opinion. Beto O'Rourke, he's not the one you want. Okay. Now the next thing. All right, we have another thing I want to make a point about Trump. I don't know if this will work or not, but Trump drained the swamp fighting back. A lot of Trump supporters think it's just the swamp fighting back. That's why they want him impeached. Why all the people with campaign money are getting behind Pelosi, piling this campaign money in there, pouring it in. Impeach Trump, impeach Trump, impeach Trump. Constantly telling her, and she's just a puppet. Her and Schumer are just a puppet of the people with campaign money. It's not because that's why they're doing it. It's not because really the more votes. I don't think it is. They never worried about more votes before. They know you have the pendulum effect. You have a Democrat in a while. They didn't worry about Ronald Reagan. They didn't worry about more votes then. And they knew the pendulum effect. If we had H.W. was in there after Reagan, so they had 3 terms of a Republican, and they didn't worry about more votes. I really don't believe that's. I think it's all campaign money. I think it's the people that are backing them. But anyway, they want Trump impeached. Trump's trying to drain the swamp. Like I say, he wants term limits. They don't want that, and he wants the closed borders. They don't want that, but you've noticed that with the closed borders, also ought to bring out that they've been trying to close those borders since 1980, and that's why I'm proving it's campaign money that's keeping them open because. Since 1980, and then Perot got in there and they knocked him off. Tried to close them, they knocked him off. Ralph Nader wanted to close them, they knocked him off. Sanders, I don't know what Sanders, he wants campaign finance reform, they knocked him off. It's like when you close the door, right? You try to close the door and all of a sudden the wind blows it open. It just pops open. And then another person goes over. This is my analogy. And it's, like Clinton was Clinton tried to close them, Obama tried to close them. And none of them got it dematerialized. They got in there and they wanted even a barrier that was high tech, with motion sensors or drones or whatever they use. And then that disintegrated. And they know it will again. And because the okay, but what's doing it? After the 4th or 5th time, you close the door, it blows open again. Don't you by the 5th time kind of wonder what's doing that? Well, it's something weird going on. We have tried to close since 1980 and that many candidates are getting in. What's the first thing you think? It's probably kind of hard to fix. Well, so you want to get in there and find out what's doing it. Well, it's not because they want more votes coming in. It wasn't that with Clinton. It wasn't that with Perot. It wasn't that with Obama. Probably not. It's probably campaign money. That's what's doing it. You notice that all other countries have closed borders. All other countries have medical prices that are reasonable. The health care, affordable health care. 3 or 4 of them, all of them do, except this one. And what's the one common denominator? Campaign finance corruption, government corruption. That's probably what it is. Okay. Another thing about the dog and the lawyer analogy. Okay, we used to have this in our neighborhood, lived on the wealthy side of Wichita a long time ago. And we had this neighbor that was a prominent lawyer, and he had a vicious dog. And he went around and sicked it on everybody in the neighborhood. He'd go, he'd come in and cause trouble, vandalize your place, whatever, and you go out there and tell him to get out of there, some little kid. And then, well, if you ever told anything to him, he'd sick the dog on you. And then, okay, the dog's over at the church, and nobody could get into the church because that dog was out there, that vicious dog. So you told the preacher, get rid of the dog. Well, he wouldn't do it. Well, because he was afraid that he didn't want to meddle with that prominent lawyer in town. Okay, this is the same thing with Trump. It's the same damn thing. I don't know why, it's so simple to me, but so many people on Fox News, they just don't, nobody on there gets it. Hannity doesn't get it, there isn't one on there. Tucker Carlson almost once in a while, and he's off half the time. I heard one tonight on the Steve Hilton show that didn't get it. But, so, look, it's like that border thing. We've got all these presidents that try to close the border, and they all get in trouble. They can't do it. Well, and then so Trump's getting in there. By God, I'm going to show you. I'm going to close this border. He means business. And by God, I'll walk in there and close it. Look what happened. Big investigation against him. I mean, just use your common sense. The investigation has something to do with that same problem. But, like I say, if someone's causing that much trouble, even if Trump's unlikable, don't we need someone to get in there and put a stop to the ugly, dirty campaign finance corruption bullshit? Okay, tell Fox. They don't get it. All right, and the other thing I was going to say, I guess I got through most of this. Everyone loses. Everybody but the corporates. The corporates win big. Alright, let's see, what's the other thing? Yeah, it would be on this page. Okay, perks given to the F. Okay, now another problem I was going to say about this investigation into Trump. They keep talking about, okay, they said Trump came out a long time ago and he said, well, someone's bugging Trump Tower. And everybody said he was paranoid. You know, he's nuts, he's crazy and all this. Well, it turned out they were bugging Trump Tower. And it had to do with some kind of a dossier that was obtained illegally. I don't know exactly what happened. It's like I think it's like when the police, there are some jurisdictions in Minnesota where the judges will hand out a bunch of search warrants to the police and sign them all and just give them to them so they can go in anybody's house anytime they want, anything they want. Oh, you know, and just harass somebody, whatever, they don't care. You know, it's just really, really ugly. Well, it's something like this that happened with this illegal dossier. Okay, here probably. Here you had, like I say, a long time ago, you had the pilots that were flying. The airlines wanted cheap labor, so they wanted to make pilots retire at 60. So they lobbied the FAA to make a law that pilots had to retire at 60. Well, they found out actually the pilots make fewer mistakes between 60 and 65. Well, they went and got in the FAA guy's face, you know, the one that put it through, and asked him, hey, pilots make fewer mistakes between 60 and 65, so why the hell aren't you letting them retire at 65? And he had all this bullshit and big lies coming, oh, they don't either, and I heard this and I heard that, just a bunch of bullshit. Well, anyway, you know they're getting some perk from the airlines in one way or another. Well, and then you had Soros. They say Soros gave money to the DNC. They say the corporates gave money to Comey. They didn't say why. What was in Comey's mind when he received it? What was in the corporate's mind when they gave it to him? They say the corporates gave big money to, and the Soros gave money to the Department of Justice. So they give a bunch of redacted reports when they had investigations, election tampering, and kept Sanders out. How do you know Soros didn't give money to the DNC is why they knocked him out in the first place? How do you know it wasn't some corporate that gave money to, they obtained this dossier and this permission to bug Trump Tower illegally? It wasn't some corporate that didn't want term limits. The new Trump was a swamp drainer, didn't want the swamp drained. They gave somebody money somewhere. That's why they could take to that government official that gave him the dossier. That's probably what happened. And the other thing I was going to say, Kyle from Secular Talk, he had gotten on Fox News and started talking about how many jobs have gone overseas since Trump got in. Well, they wouldn't talk to him after that. They wouldn't follow it up or even argue with him. Pat Buchanan got on Fox News and said, how many jobs have gone overseas since Trump got in? I noticed he went black. All of a sudden, I think, now that their equipment didn't fall out. They were censoring him. Fell up. They were censoring him, and so what Kyle needs to do is get a list of all the corporations that went overseas since Trump got in, and get another list of the ones that are still here that are competitors, like the My Pillow guy. You know, the guy that sells My Pillow. He stayed over here. Find out all the other pillow factories that went overseas, and tell everybody to boycott them and buy the guy on that sells the My Pillow. And maybe if everybody goes out of business that went overseas, maybe they'll quit doing that crap. I mean, that's what Kyle needs to do. Okay, Cozy Cortez, I was going to talk about her. She talked about taxing the rich, you know, which, okay, that's Ross. She's pretty smart because that's what Ross Perot says we need to balance the budget. You know, and you can't do it without taxing the rich. Nobody else has any tax money. Okay, the 1% has it all. Okay, and Warren Buffett said we need to tax the rich. Richard Nixon said no loopholes over a certain, you know, if you had over, I think $1 million, if you made over $1 million, no loopholes. So Richard Nixon, and he's one of the best presidents we've ever had. Okay, so she's right in line. Well, anyway, the hedge funds, they had to allow them because of the campaign money coming in. Because the Republicans wouldn't support his tax plan unless they let the hedge funds. Okay, so now Ocasio-Cortez backs campaign finance reform, which she probably does. She's better than Trump because he's put people in the Supreme Court that support corruption. So, but that's the only way you can do it. You have to get campaign finance reform. And she also talked about the rent being too high. That's another problem, too, that Trump hasn't fixed. So right now, she's really a better candidate than Trump. And I support her or Sanders over Trump. Okay, well, anyway, thanks for watching.